Welcome back, guys, to Pastor's Coffee. This is episode 19. Stiff, how has your Easter week been?
Been going good. Today I am a little excited, and by little I mean a lot. Not Easter-wise, but today is opening day of baseball.
Oh, man.
Got the Pitt, and Pirates up there.
You're ready to
I
go.
don't know why. Huh?
You're ready to go.
I'm ready to go this year. Pirates, they're looking better. Probably still do trash, but that's okay. It's just such a long season, and I'm still gonna be watching baseball till football starts. So, but I'm excited. Today we're playing the Miami Marlins. Not sadly, but I am going to a track meet today, and it's at the same time as opening
Oh,
day.
man.
So, Naya, if they do watch this, Naya, I apologize. I may be watching some of the game at your track meet. So, but overall, it's been a good week. It's been kind of slow for me. I don't. At least for me, I don't have anything to prepare for. Message wise, I don't know about you. You can after when I ask you, but yeah, it's just been a really slow week. I feel like it's been Friday every other day. I keep thinking it's Friday, but it's not. So maybe opening day has something to do with that too. But anyway, how about you? How's your week been going?
It's been good. We should talk a little baseball. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that'd be good. We could kick that off a little bit. My Reds are poised to make a playoff push this year, I think.
We're in the same division. Healthy. I don't know if you know that.
We are.
But we are in the same division.
We are. And I am sick to my stomach about our fantasy season, and it makes me not even want to play because my keepers got all out of whack. And obviously, my favorite two players are Elly De La Cruz and Julio Rodriguez. And I'm trying to get him, and this other guy's not budging. I've offered my whole team. That's not happening. So I literally have offered my whole team. So it's not going well. So I might just scrap this fantasy season because if I don't have my two guys, it's not even really worth it.
Exactly.
But it's I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely try and catch at least a game or two this year. It's not too far of a drive from where we're at. But yeah, as far as my week, it has been slower but very, very packed. There's just been we don't have Sunday night, so that takes away one of my messages. And we do have Sunday school. I did have Wednesday night youth group yesterday, so I had another message there. But yeah, just kind of keeping track with the school stuff and staying on top of that. And I've tried to work ahead, but I haven't gotten anything
I
done
forgot
really.
to even mention school.
Yeah, well, that shows where your head's at with it. And but we on top of that, but this week has just been so packed with counseling wise, just with people coming in, and had some premarital counseling sessions. So that's just been, some of it was planned, obviously, but then others were not planned, and it's been kind of difficult just staying on top of that, and some heavy issues with some of them. So just be in prayer for that if you think of it. But it's been a fulfilling week, and God's been good, and had a lot of time to just read about the crucifixion and the resurrection, and study it a little bit more in depth, which has been cool. Some extra time with that. So it's been a good week, but busy week. I say that every time, and but God's still good. So, but yeah. So this weekend, Sunday we'll do a sunrise service, and then we'll have our normal 2 services in the morning, but then get some extra time in the day and get to spend time with family and enjoy that time. So what are you guys doing after services?
We are going to my mom's house. Going to do Easter there. Doing a little different this year, food wise at least. We're doing some brisket in the smoker, so that should be fun with some mac and cheese.
Send me the address. Oh my goodness, man.
Yep. So I'm excited for that. It'll be Liam's first Easter. Obviously,
awesome.
I'm excited for that, but everybody's wondering what outfit he's wearing, and
yeah.
So, but that'll be exciting. We just have our service, morning service. No sunrise, no Sunday school or anything like that. We just have simply our service, and obviously it's our biggest day of the year, attendance wise, and so
right.
So yeah, one of our lead worship guys, he's on vacation actually this weekend, so I'll have to play guitar.
You're kidding? Awesome.
So
okay.
I usually do play with him, but he's just so much better at it than I am, and so that'll be nice. But I mean, it'll be nice to play guitar and everything for Easter Sunday, and go back to some of the old hymns and stuff.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. Good Friday service tomorrow, and so that should be good. Doing communion as well tomorrow night. But overall, just excited for Easter. It's Albina's favorite holiday. We had that argument about holidays back on the podcast here a while ago, and she argues that Easter it is more important than Christmas.
Absolutely.
But Christmas is just different.
It is.
So, but with Easter, what's something that you look forward to every year when it comes to Easter? What's something that you just know that's going to happen this day? Something maybe you are reminded of. I mean, obviously we're reminded of Jesus' resurrection, and that could be it. But just something something you're looking forward to this year.
I look forward to communion on Easter every year. Whether it's during the Good Friday service or the Sunday morning service, whichever one that it lands on, or we do. You think, obviously, I mean, in most of the messages you hear a gospel presentation, you're thinking about Easter all year long. That is your faith. But that reminder of this week, it affects me like no other day, And I think just especially during the communion time, when you start to think about the Passover and the meal, and him predicting and telling them that this was going to happen, and to remember him by doing this, it just makes it all the more real. And I start, even though the time when you're convicted of all the things that you're doing wrong during the time isn't fun, it is necessary. And I always look forward to that time, because Easter really almost every year it's happened as long as I can remember being saved. It's kind of been a reset time for me, to just kind of get centered in my thinking and to get back on track with what God has in front of me. Even though I can be in the Word every day, I can be staying on top of my prayer life and trying to make disciples. I don't quite feel as, I don't know if on fire is the word, but just kind of led by the Spirit as much as I do during that time on Easter. So I always look forward to communion, just because that's the one time where it all makes it real. I will say, just kind of in a practical way, usually my family does. Now we've all gotten older. You know how big my family is, but just so many cousins. We all live so close, so they feel like brothers and sisters a lot of times. But we always have a Easter egg hunt at my family's house with all my cousins and stuff. And the younger ones are getting older, and it's kind of sad, but to see that, because it's such a cool time. But I've always kind of cherished to just kind of show. I mean, I remember as a kid looking forward to the Easter egg hunt and everything, but always remembering that my family, we were doing this to remember what Christ gave for us. And I just think it's so special to have that time with all of us to, do fun things like that, but also remember, why we're doing it. So those are kind of the two things that I look forward to the most. What would you say?
Yeah. I'm very spoiled. I'm an only child, so I get like 3 baskets a year. But no, I am very appreciative of it, and always getting stuff for Easter. And but yeah, I think I'm right there. We're both very emotional either way. So I always remember Good Friday services, just like, it's almost, for me, I like Good Friday service almost more than Easter. Without Easter, Good Friday has nothing to do.
Right.
You know, Christ didn't
Right.
defeat death. But just thinking about everything that Christ went through on Good Friday, and just the pain and torment that he took upon himself that I deserve, and just thinking of that, and then watching movies about it, like The Passion, and just really just seeing it all happen, and not even close to probably what even did happen actually. Why, and so and I just always get very emotional about it, and it's just something that I do look forward to every year. You know, you think about that, you think about all the pain he's gone through, but when it comes to this week and we're really remembering it, it really does hit different, as we can say. But something I didn't until recently really realize how important Easter really is. You know, we knew he rose from the dead, defeating death, but I didn't really put together the defeating death part, defeating what death has on us. You know, we still die, but death no longer has a hold on us, and that we get to go to heaven with him.
Right.
And I always put it together, but I didn't realize how important it really is.
Sure.
Because we always look towards the cross and see what he's done, and then we kind of leave out the resurrection part, which is without Easter, without him rising from the dead. You know, Good Friday really doesn't do anything. He just
can't call Friday good without it. Right.
So, and so that's something I've been really looking forward to these past couple of years, is really remembering the resurrection and what he's done for us.
Sure.
And so it's a great time of year. And so that's something I remember. And then communion, again, you know, they're just symbols. You know, we're not actually taking Christ's body and his blood. And, you know, it's just a symbol, but just thinking about him in that room, knowing what's about to happen and still going on with it, and his willingness. And the disciples had no clue what was about to go on. I mean, they had to be crazy. And so that's something I look forward to every year. But yeah, my mom is doing a Easter egg hunt this year. She usually hides the baskets, so that's kind of
that's
Easter
cool.
Egg. But she wouldn't do an Easter egg hunt. The whole family's been kind of making fun of her, so I've been on her side about it.
There you go. You got to.
You're welcome, Mom. So I'm looking forward to it. The thing is, Albina is so good at finding things.
Oh man!
I don't know.
She's not allowed to play them. She's not allowed to.
She's gonna have all the eggs gone, and she'll give them to Liam, who can't even eat it.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say about Easter?
I think one of the things that sticks out to me the most in that account is when Christ says, and I think it's in every account in the gospel, but it might be left out of one, but each one's kind of phrased a little bit different, but it's the idea of he could get 12 legions of angels to come down and rescue him. And obviously they knew his power with all the miracles that he did. But I think just the fact that he could have stopped it, and then it is the one thing that sticks out to me the most, just because, obviously we know he's God. We know his deity, and he never ceased to be God while he was still a man, and that's so hard to justify. We get it. But I think what's so amazing to me about it is the first sight of discomfort or pain, at least for me, I'm going to try to avoid it. If there's a way to avoid it, I'm going to, you know. And for him, knowing what was to come, and you had to think there could have been another way he did it. But obviously this was God's plan for him, and it had to be the most excruciating way possible. And he willingly takes it. We say willingly, not only that he gives himself up, but then when he's on the cross, he could have stopped it at any point and he didn't, you know. And we talked about it a little bit last week, but just the idea of how fast things changed And even studying it this week, I knew that Judas turned the money back in. He tried to hand it back, and I don't know if you call it a repentance, because then he hangs himself, but but he turns it back in. He really feels the guilt pretty quick, and it's crazy to me because Judas was with the 12. They didn't know it was him. Everybody, I think it's Thomas that asked, is it me? Was I the one that was going to betray you? And everybody's looking around, and Peter is ready to kill one of them, because he's like, I know it's not me, even though I'm going to deny him 3 times. But it's amazing to think that Judas, just in a split second, makes this decision to betray him, and then really feels the guilt, and obviously has second thoughts afterwards, and he can't get over himself that he ends up killing himself. And all these things that have to happen for us to have eternal life, all these things come to pass, and it should change the way we live. If what we do, if our sin put him there, man, that should change the way we look at stuff. So there's so many aspects of this that we don't talk about during the year as much, and it's so special to be able to take this kind of extended time to really just dive into this event, because without this, we don't have a reason to be there at all. We don't have a faith. So I don't know.
No, beautifully said. Nothing else I can say to that. And just like, and something I've said before to my youth group, and just is when we do put time toward other things, which we do, I watch sports all the time. We both watch sports all the time, but when we make priorities over Christ, and we look at him and we see what he's done on the cross, and we're like, well, is that even good enough for me to not watch this game and go read my Bible if I haven't done it already? And we're just thinking about looking at Christ on the cross and saying, well, is it worth it? And it would change so much if we were actually there too.
Yeah.
And we saw just a glimpse of what he'd done for us, we would immediately turn. But since we just read about it in the Bible, it sometimes doesn't, hit us like that.
I was teaching last night. We've been going through Ecclesiastes, and obviously, Ecclesiastes can be tough to kind of navigate through. It's just a wild writing. But obviously it's still included in God's word, and God ordained it to be there. But kind of what you're talking about is exactly what we were going through. There was 2 verses in chapter 6 that kind of stuck out to me. The first one's verse 7. All the labor of man is for his mouth, and yet the soul is not satisfied. But then verse 11 says, since there are many things that increase vanity, how is man the better? And just 2 things, like in verse 7, all the labor of man is for his mouth. I look at my own life, and I can see so many times in my life that I've done things just to say that I did them. Or someone said I couldn't do something, and I wanted to prove them wrong. And maybe not in all cases that's wrong, but then if you really think about your motivation for what you're doing, and you ask yourself the question, why do I do what I do? And you look at your priorities, like you were just saying, and if what you're motivated to do is to get you a reaction from somebody that'll last 5 seconds, at best maybe a week, of somebody talking about, and then you're looking for the next chance to do something to get somebody else to appreciate what you did for a little bit, and then you're always searching for that next thing, it makes life very meaningless. When you get to verse 11, since there are many things that increase vanity, how's man the better? And I asked my youth the question. I kind of asked myself the question because it kind of convicted me. In my day, do I do more things that increase meaning in my life, or is it the opposite, where more things that I do in my day are meaningless? And if you think about our priorities, Easter is as great a time to kind of sober your thinking if the things that I do, the times that I mess up, the sins that I commit are the reason he was put on the cross, I'm going to try and do everything in my power to be as much like him as possible, so I don't have to think about the pain that I caused him.
Yeah.
It's like, and again, we do have grace. We do, and I know I'm getting on a rabbit trail, but we do have grace, and obviously it's endless grace. He's casting our sins away as far as us from the east is from the west, but grace shouldn't motivate us to live freely in terms of sinning more. Obviously, the Bible says God forbid, but it should steer us to be like the one who gave us that grace. If we realize the feeling from it, we should be motivated to be like the one who gave that to us. So I thought that was pretty cool that you kind of mentioned that. But it was sobered my thinking up a little bit.
Yeah, and I really think about it with this one, the aspect of love, and when I look at other people, and as annoying as teenagers can get,
sure,
I still need to show them love because Christ loved me, and he showed me more love than I can ever show to anybody. I need to love Albina unconditionally, even though she can annoy the crap out of me sometimes,
Yeah.
But I because Christ showed me his love, he showed it an example, and I have to love, because he loved me and he showed me that, and I'm to imitate him with that. And as hard as it can be, remembering that love, and to show it in your life, it shocks people when you do love them, even though they don't deserve it.
You're right. Yeah.
And so I think even just that aspect, we take all the other characteristics of Christ, put them aside, love, how different your life would be. The amount of people, they did me wrong, so I'm not going to talk to them. I'm not going to do this. Well, you did a lot of things to Christ, and Christ still went to the cross and still rose again from the dead, willingly, all of that, simply because he loved you.
Yeah.
And so
puts everything into perspective. Yeah.
And so, and that's just that's something else that I take from this week. It the aspect of love and how much love it took for him to do that. And so, something different to say that.
Yeah.
Something we can never do. But, anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah.
So I hope you guys have a good Easter weekend here. But true, above all else, just remember what he's done for you on Good Friday and on Easter Sunday.
Take some time to reflect. Yeah.
And truly look at that and truly see what you can then change in your life with him, and ask him for his help. If you want wisdom, he will give it to you. So, have a good Easter weekend. But we still have one more thing we want to do. And we thought about it. I thought about it before this started, so that was good. But top 5 today, top 5 draft. We are going to do top 5 Christian artists. Okay. There are a lot of people out there who claim to be Christian, but in their musically Christian artists.
Right.
Because there's a couple of people we would probably put on here, but truly aren't. Look at that. Albina trying to call me. But people who are truly making Christian music.
Yeah.
So, and we could talk about that eventually at some point on the podcast.
But, yeah, it'd be fun. That'd be a cool conversation.
So who went first last week?
I did. So you're up.
Okay. Christian artist. Who do I want to take first?
I know who my first one is.
Really?
But you won't take my first one.
Okay.
That way.
Okay. I think for me, and this is any type of, it's not just contemporary music. This is
right.
We're probably going to have people who you're not going to sing on Sunday morning. the GOAT for me, okay, and I think it'll change for me eventually, but the GOAT for me is Lecrae.
Yeah.
And that's just we're both rap guys, and so Lecrae is a rapper, Christian rapper.
Yeah.
Went through a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah.
And he does rap about it. And I think eventually this might change for me, and we'll get to it, and maybe he'll be in my draft if you don't take him. But that's my number one.
Okay, that's a great pick. He's definitely on my list just because growing up, that was honestly
he's the guy.
He is, and he was so influential in my faith. Honestly, his lyrics. I mean, they were really impactful. I mean, they just really were. And it's been sad to see these last couple of years, obviously, kind of deconstructed and just putting it out there. A lot of people will disagree with me, and I might get some flack for it, but I don't really think deconstruction is a real thing. And that can be something that we can talk about down the line. But some people don't mean it in the way it actually is defined. But I think we throw out deconstruction so loosely, and we don't really understand what we're saying. In my opinion, if you deconstruct from your faith was never genuine to begin with. So now, if you're a new Christian, you're now a genuine believer. So it's not something I agree with, but a lot of his lyrics, especially in his kind of early days, I mean, Tell the World, it's one of the greatest gospel songs, like as far as presented in it. I mean, it's John 3:16 in the music, it's awesome, so I love that. But my number one, Tauren Wells. I'm going to go the contemporary route for this one. I love his music. I think it's got a good mix of kind of your modern style music, but he's just got a voice that he could go on anything and sound great. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Isn't that crazy that he was in a band before?
Yeah.
Gosh. Royal Taylor.
Right? Royal Taylor. Yeah.
Dude, I saw them.
Yeah, that was.
I saw them in concert in a youth retreat, like 300 people there, maybe. That's how low they were.
Wow.
And he was in the band, and he was.
I wonder what the other guys in that are doing now. I'd never heard, but
yeah, he has an amazing voice.
Oh man, there's nobody like him. Yeah.
So, my next pick, somebody who I'm just gonna go ahead and take the guy I think that will maybe eventually take over.
I think I know who you're gonna say. Yeah.
I think it's Hulvey.
Yeah, that's who I was gonna pick next. Yeah.
Hulvey is a great. He's also a rapper. His lyrics as well.
Yeah.
He's such a talented rapper as well. But I think he could eventually, and he's a solid Christian rapper, where it's not just, oh, here's a song about, my faith, and then all the rest are kind of just weird. He does have those weird ones, but a lot of his songs are truly good. And so I think eventually, if he continues this route, I think he'll eventually take over.
Sure. Okay. Number two for me, again, I'm sticking with contemporary for now, because those were really the two rappers I had in my list. But I'm gonna go Jeremy Camp.
Okay. I haven't heard that name in a while, actually.
Dude, I listen to him every day. I do. I don't know. Just, I mean, I don't know if you know his story or not, but just kind of just hearing his testimony and everything, it just makes his lyrics that more meaningful. And he has really, really sound stuff in his music that I like and appreciate. So yeah, I'll go Jeremy Camp.
Somebody who I have been listening to a lot more often, and I don't really. He associates with a certain pastor, and I don't really like that. And with that, but I love his music, and I think his music is great. And this is Brandon Lake.
No, I didn't think you'd pick him. That was my next one.
Yeah, Brandon Lake.
Dude. Oh, dude.
Now, he associates a little bit with Stephen Furtick. Stephen Furtick's a little weird.
Yeah.
But like Graves in the Garden.
Code of Many Colors is my favorite song out right now.
Great song.
Man, I've never heard a sermon better than his song.
Yep.
Like the images that and the illustrations that he has in that song, oh, it's amazing. But Gratitude, oh my goodness,
Gratitude.
That'll never get old. Never get old. Yeah.
I would honestly, and two of my guys are doing. Have you heard the Summer Worship Night thing? Took the tour with him, Brandon Lake, and
Holvey.
Phil Wickham.
Yes, Holvey's going to be on that too. Yeah,
and then Holvey's also going to be there, and they're going to DC.
The closest one for me is in Columbus, and I've thought about it. Have you seen
Lake
at all?
What is it?
Have you seen Brandon Lake at all?
Mm-mm.
Person, I saw him. So I went to a Lauren Daigle concert in the fall, and Brandon Lake opened, and I mean he was amazing. He was amazing. Yeah. That's like Mackenzie's favorite artist right now. Like
Brandon Lake.
Yes. Lauren. So Brandon Lake, yeah, she loves him, and so she's been begging me to take her to another one.
We might have to.
So that'd be a fun night.
The thing is, Albina doesn't really care for concerts. I'm not a big concert guy either, but with good artists,
I like him. Yeah.
So, and I think Brandon Lake would be a great guy to go.
Oh, you would love it. Yeah.
And I mean, Holvey would be there, and that would just be sick.
Yeah.
And
but you threw me off because now I don't know where to go with this. I'm just going to say this. He's not in my top 3 anymore, but I'm just going to say, just because of history and where he's taken Christian music,
I'm
going to have to say TobyMac. Just because, and again, he's not like my favorite artist to listen to, and I know he's been through a ton lately.
He's kind of like made that genre.
He has. I mean, just obviously the DC Talk to go from that. I mean, he made Christian contemporary mainstream, you know. And honestly, I don't know if we get Lecrae without TobyMac.
Yeah.
So I think he's got to be on a list at this, you know.
He's and again, yeah, like he's not like my favorite.
Yeah.
But he's done a lot for the Christian.
Absolutely, yeah.
My next one, I don't think you're going to take my 5, so I think I'm safe with keeping it at 5. My next one, we're both big rap guys, but I'm also very big. KB.
Yeah.
Simply, his concert performance is crazy.
He's amazing. Yeah.
But he's also up there. He stepped away from Reach Records, I'm pretty sure.
I think so too. Yeah.
Thing. Yeah. But he still does. I mean, he does remixes on like 10,000 Reasons, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, popular hymns.
A lot of his cool songs with some popular people.
Yeah.
And so I really like him, and an honorable mention is Andy Mineo, someone who I grew up with.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put him in the top 5.
Right.
But Andy Mineo was my dude back in the day as well. So
number 4 might get some hate for this, but we have to have a girl on here. So in the list, and obviously the go-to would be Lauren Daigle, but kind of going a little bit more mainstream.
Yeah.
So I don't know if to put her on this list, but what I am going to put on, she should be on this list if we just considered a Christian artist, just because she's one of the biggest Christian artists ever. I mean, just what she's gone through. But there has been some things where she's kind of been moving to the mainstream section. So with that in mind, I'm going to go. And I'm telling you, I just love her music. I do. But Francesca Battistelli.
Yes.
I love her music, dude. I love
great
her music.
Artist. Great artist.
She's been around a long time. So.
I thought you might have went Katie Nicole with that one.
She's good too.
She's good too. But she's great as well.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, with Lauren Daigle, let me tell you, Albina did not like Lauren Daigle at all.
Yeah.
Can't stand her. And you know, honestly, I don't think she's gone as far as this person, but NF, when he first started,
yeah,
he would top all these guys. But
yeah,
we both know that. But just the
right.
way that they've gone now with the
You can't put him on these lists. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think Lauren Daigle has gone as far as
right.
NF has.
I don't either.
But there is and just some of the stances that she has is a little, but you can't say that she's not a great artist. So
as far as artists, she is the best female singer I've ever heard in my life. I mean, her and Adele, I'd put them right side by side each other because they sound exactly like. But her range, there's nobody like her.
Yeah,
you have to say that. I mean, she's amazing in that way. Yeah.
So, with my number 5, and this is a band. Are we counting bands?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of my favorites that I've always really loved is CityAlight.
Good call. Yeah.
And so they do like Yet Not I, Christ Forevermore, or something like that.
Yeah,
just really good sound songs that you probably sing in your church and you may not even realize it.
Right.
And so CityAlight has always had a special place in my heart. But those are my number 5. That's my number 5.
Well, for my 5, just sticking with like kind of your more known, like contemporary and rap artists, I would go Blessing Offer just because
I've never heard of him.
I love his songs. Now you need to look him up. You've definitely heard a song or two from him. He sings Believe, he sings Your Love, but I just really, really like listening to his voice. He's got a very unique voice. But my number 5 is the most talented singer I've ever seen in person. And I saved it. He should be number 1 on the list, but I saved him till the end because I was banking on you not taking him. But it's David Phelps. He started out with the Gaithers, but then he went solo, and I got to see him in person. My dad did a lot of his songs growing up, and I always was able to listen to him. But man, he is absolutely amazing. I'm sure most of you listening have heard of him, but if you haven't, look him up. Look up In the Beginning or him singing Oh Holy Night. There's nobody like him. He is amazing. So, and he really kind of pushed Christian music forward too. So I think he has to be on the list.
Yeah. Your dad being a worship leader.
Yeah.
Had to really help out with this.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because I didn't really listen to anything like this until probably high school.
I mean, this has been my whole life just because
this has been your life.
Right.
So, but yeah, this is our top 5. There's probably people that should be on here, but just personal.
Oh yeah, and I know I'm forgetting some, but we're kind of doing this on the fly a lot of times.
We do. Yeah. Like Phil Wickham, dog.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, his voice is insane.
Love listening to him.
Chris Tomlin. We didn't even think about Chris Tomlin.
Oh man, I didn't. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that till now.
Yeah.
So there's
Matthew West, a lot of big ones. Yeah.
Matthew West is in that category. So, yeah. But thank you guys again for listening to us. We'll talk about baseball sometime, but we went long today because Easter is important. So
this was a good one. That was fun. Yeah,
it was great. So thank you guys for listening and watching us. Let us know what we should draft next because we need ideas. And what we should talk about next week. So again, thank you guys for listening, and we hope you guys have a great Easter weekend. We'll see you.
See you guys.